so high for peace. Color of the wind shades of purple.
Hey, it's me. It's Dave from cheapwinefinder.com. And we're doing another one and another one and another one. We got another wine today that we have. We put it on the Cheap Wine Finder website, which we do wine reviews sometime this summer. We'll start our 12th year. We've been doing it forever and ever and haven't got bored yet. So drinking wine is, fun. So what we have here is a Trader Joe's wine, but from France. It's called the Révélation Pinot Noir 2018. And it's from the Languedoc region of France, which is in the southeast. It's got the Mediterranean Ocean and the coast there. It's got the Pyrenees Mountains to the west, and south is Spain. And this is actually the Catalonian region way back in the day when the Catalonian people were all over that area. And a fun fact, the Catalonian language does not match any other language in Europe or I think anywhere else in the area. It's where they came from, we don't know, but we don't care because they were into wine. And so the Catalonia region goes into Spain. That's where Cava goes from, and Barcelona and all that stuff is going on down there. But we're up in France in the Languedoc region. This is a Vin de Paz d'Ac wine. There's different classifications of wines in France. There's AOC wines, and then there's Cru wines and Grand Cru and villages and all that sort of thing. But the main ones are AOC, the Vin de Paz, and then there's a one that's kind of like just called Wines of France. It used to be called table wine. It's not really table wine anymore, but this is in between, and that means that the grapes either didn't come from the boundaries of the AOC, or they made it in a way that didn't quite conform with the AOC rules. And it's a good way to get wine that you're going to export to other countries who might not want the French style or all of the French style, which this one has French style. And it's, like I said, Révélation Pinot Noir, Vin de Paz, IGP1. IGP2 is also the more official European name for the whole thing. And it's a Pinot Noir, and the Languedoc's not actually known for Pinot Noir, but it's got the Mediterranean Ocean there. You can do it, but it's kind of warm that way, but there are coastal regions. And Languedoc actually is the area where the inexpensive wines, the everyday wines of France, people in France who drink wine all the time, which is a whole bunch of them, get their wines from here. Everybody knows about Bordeaux and Burgundy and all the other fancy areas where they can be, Saint-Cyr and but people drink from here. This is where they all drink their wine. It's like the 1/3 of all wine comes from the Languedoc, and and 10% of all wine press of wine is about the Languedoc. Everybody's talking about everything else, but they drink it from here. It's a Pinot Noir, and there was a time when if you wanted a value price Pinot Noir, France is probably where you looked, or maybe some coastal Chile, or even way back when, like 10 years ago, inexpensive Pinot Noir came from New Zealand. I don't know where that stuff just kind of dried up. I can't think of one, really good, cheap New Zealand Pinot Noir. It's all Sauvignon Blanc nowadays. But in the meantime, California has had major quality updates in their cheap Pinot Noir. They've gotten really good. So is French Pinot Noir, even inexpensive French Pinot Noir, is $7.99. When we first did the first Révélation wine, it was a 2010. I think it was their Cabernet Merlot blend, and then that was $4.99 8 years ago. It's gone up in price, but it's still value wine. It's still at $7.99. It's still a good price. And do you need France for your Pinot Noir? Considering that California's picked their game up, and it's like a toss a coin. This has, good flavor and lots of structure. I'm going to take a sip because I'm going to talk about what it tastes like. Yeah, I mean, it's got nice. I mean, most times Pinot Noir, you don't really notice the tannins, and here you get a little brush of the tannins on it. And it's got good fruit, and it's got good structure. It's got this starts to get ripe fruit, and then it kind of gets tart, and it kind of gets silky, and it kind of gets a bunch of different things. It's not the most complicated Pinot Noir in town, but it's interesting. It's got a kind of juxtaposition of different things are kind of nice, and it's balanced and it's dry. Do you need French wine to get, French Pinot Noir to drink it, inexpensive Pinot Noir anywhere? No, because I can think of a bunch of California ones that kind of rock too. In more or less the same price range, and probably from Trader Joe's. They have Russian River Pinot Noirs there for under $10 too. But yeah, but this is kind of nice, and it's French. It tastes French. It has more structure. I mean, when you drink an expensive American wine, you talk about how good it tastes, but you really don't go on and on about the structure. And here you kind of go, yeah, the structure is nice. It's got this rough edge from the tannins. You don't really notice tannins in California wine. Half the time, you barely know they're there. If they do show up, it's like, oh, look at that. But here, they're there. And interesting. It's different. It's different take on wine, but this still has the fruit. If you want flavor, you'll find it here too. I'm going to take another sip because, why not? Yeah, it's nice. It's a good one. Do you need France for cheap wine for Pinot Noir anymore? No. But is it a good wine to grab just because it's good to drink and that's fine? Yeah, it is pretty good. That California's picked up their game when it comes to value price wine is all good. And that Languedoc still offers good value too is all good too, because we want to drink wine and we don't want to spend a fortune for it because there is no reason to spend a fortune for it. The marketing tells you got to spend $40 on this and $25 on that, but the reality says you don't. And there you are. So that's a quick one for me. Usually I go on, and this one's not so on and on. So I'll come back in a couple of days with something else, and we'll keep on talking about wine. And I think we got, maybe something for Valentine's Day coming up. We're still a little short, but next week we'll try to figure out something for that, just to give some tips on that. Maybe chocolate wine or something, just something silly. But that's that. So keep it cheap, and adios. And I'll be talking to you, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
I read so hard for peace. Color of blue, shades of purple. My paintbrush feels old.